Okay, that's awesome. Can they head back out here to my neck of the woods and re-record the sounds for the Acela, because that horn is just not it. I'm sorry. I think I'm always going to complain about that one. I'm just going to put that out there right now. All right, today we are taking a little dive into the making of Train Sim World 4 in terms of the audio and music. This is a new dev diary. They've been uploading these. I believe this is the second one that they've uploaded now. The first one just kind of goes over the routes coming, some of the features, scenario planner, livery designer 2.0, all of that stuff, PC editor, but a different look this time. So let's check this out.
Welcome back to our Dev Diary series of videos for Train Sim World 4, where we lift the lid on development of our latest installation of the Train Sim World franchise. Today we're going to be talking about new experiences, and boy did we have a lot of them when we were developing Train Sim World 4. We took road trips, we tried new things, and we can't wait to tell you all about them. So let's roll the tape.
You know, I do want to say really quickly, because I did watch the two preview streams. The first one for Volberg, I know I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, I apologize. And the second one was the Antelope Valley line. And I do want to say I was actually quite impressed by the first one. The scenery looked beautiful. There is one thing that kind of bugs me. It's seeing the trees on the mountains in the very far distance, just kind of popping in and loading in instantly. I don't like that. It breaks immersion for me, in my opinion. I don't know if this would ever be a possible thing, but I know that not all distant scenery, like trees on mountains miles away, are going to be able to all load in at once. It's probably a lot of memory or whatever that may entail on your computer or hardware. It's probably a lot for any system to deal with, loading up more so that it doesn't flash in front of you. And the same goes with shadows that literally load and render in right in front of you as you're driving. I don't like that either. But I was just thinking, like, I wonder if there's a way that they could make it so when these distant trees are loading in, maybe they fade in over a period of like 5 to 10 seconds. It's just that instant pop of them showing up. It's just like, I don't like it. I know it's something very small, something I'm a little picky about, but I just kept noticing it and I didn't like it. There's a lot of attention to detail in that route. I feel like this video is just gonna be me just kind of giving my thoughts based on the streams, because I didn't actually react to them live or anything like that. I just watched them on my own time, and honestly I have a lot of thoughts about them. But we also got to see the new HUD. We got to see the volumetric fog, lots of stuff about that. I'm pretty sure I've even brought up some points about that, but I do want to talk briefly about the Antelope Valley line. I was a little disappointed watching it. I don't know why. Like, I really have high hopes for this, and I knew there weren't a lot of services on that route, but like, I don't remember seeing any freight moving along with the service that Matt was playing through on that. Like, there is freight on it. I don't know if it runs particularly at night or what's the deal, but the route just seemed really empty and just like dead. And they were kind of playing at like, what, 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning? Like, I know it's mid-morning, but it just seemed dead. It was just so quiet. There was just nothing around. And I mean, I don't know if that's fully realistic to real life. Whether it is or not doesn't change the fact that I just feel like the route is kind of a snooze. I don't know. It really does feel like some of the mountain freight routes that we get, you know, that we have to climb the grades and go down the grades, challenge ourselves with the braking. It feels like one of those routes, except you're doing it with a passenger train and you're making passenger stops, but the route's not lively. And I don't know, maybe I just expected too much from it, but I was kind of bored watching it. I do like the logo that we are getting with it though. The cab car also looks nice. I think it's called the Rotom cab car. I think the sounds are really good. I don't know if they're accurate, but they sound great. Honestly, I can't really think of much else. They did preview one of the scenarios. I don't think we got to hear the music from it, but it was really neat what they did show. But let's get back into this video now. I feel like I'm gonna be talking about this for like 20 minutes.
For all of our products, it's really important for us to make sure that we give our players the best experience possible, and that starts with getting authentic and realistic source sounds. So for Train Sim World 4, we've actually had great opportunities to travel kind of all over the world to capture all of this audio. It started in Manchester for the Flying Scotsman, then we went to Edinburgh to get the Azuma, Austria, where Lucas managed to capture some audio for the Vectron, and then we've ended that with a trip to Los Angeles where we captured the F125 and the Rotems for the Antelope Valley.
I do want to add, because I remember them mentioning this in the preview stream for Antelope Valley, that during some of their off time, they actually did capture some Amtrak stuff. And they also did say, by the way, guys, this doesn't mean it's coming. This doesn't even mean it's in development. We just have the extra time and we do it because, you know, if we have the opportunity to capture extra sounds, we capture extra sounds. And I can see why they did that. But also, I don't know, part of me still feels like if you're capturing extra sounds, maybe you at least have an idea of something or you're planning for something. So I don't know, maybe more Amtrak in the future? If so, maybe non-electrified Amtrak. I'll take that. I will very gladly take that.
We're here on the F125. We just got into the cab. 3 microphone setups today. Currently 21 degrees and it's only 9 AM. I'm definitely a Brit and I can't stand the heat.
I'm doing all right, actually.
They've got the Brits out there capturing sounds on these American trains in this American heat. You know, these trips look so fun. I mentioned it before in the blog post video. Somebody's blowing up my phone. Holy shit. I would love to do something like this. Like, that is a dream job. Not just driving trains in real life or doing content creation for a living, but like going out, riding trains, capturing sounds for a video game, a simulation about trains. Like, come on. Can you tell me a better job than that? Exactly. You can't.
The F125 up close was something I've never really experienced. I'm used to UK trains, so something big like that was, yeah, it was insane. It's such a big, heavy piece of machinery. You don't quite realise it until you're really up close, just how mechanically complex they are.
So when you get up close to them, you kind of find yourself looking up at the locomotive and you're like, okay, wow, this is a large locomotive and you start thinking, right, how are we gonna kind of record and capture everything that's there?
The types of sounds we want to get for a loco are just endless. Basically, every button, switch, lever, any interactable object inside the cab.
The run-in sounds, the horns are especially important to us, that make sure we get those right. We even use specialist microphones for that to make sure we capture kind of a nice wide sound, get some of the reverb captured that you kind of hear. We really drum down into everything and all those little details because we know that it's important to our players that we capture the right sounds at the right time and they play at the right time.
I remember them mentioning during the roadmaps or during the blogs how much equipment they use, and also the fact that they record a lot of these sounds as standalone sounds so that they can layer them and put effects on them individually instead of recording all these things at one time on one microphone. And I think that is particularly amazing. Smart, obviously, and also the equipment they use, how they have the fuzzy stuff on the microphones, that's for the wind. So when they're moving or not moving, in case it is windy, you don't get the sounds of the wind being picked up by the microphone.
Another benefit of these trips is it's not just audio. The rail vehicle art team go out there on these trips as well, and they all take photographs. They'll take photographs the like of which you can't get online.
I am surveying the rolling stock. This includes exterior surveillance, interior. We're using a combination of traditional photography, 360-degree photography, video, anything that just is going to help our artists do a bang-up job when we get this stuff back to England. They're going to use this material as reference so that they can produce highly accurate 3D models. We'll also use it to make sure all of our livery details are correct.
I gotta say, like, it looks good. They did an amazing job modeling this thing. Like, even I noticed that in the preview, it looks great. The fact that they're there taking pictures of like every single angle inside the cab, outside of the trains, and then they take all this stuff back and they use their references and they just build 3D versions of all this stuff for the game. Like, it's just, that's so much work. It's unfathomable.
All of our decals are accurate and that everything goes together much as it does the real thing.
The team took over 10,000 photographs just of those little bits of stock. Yeah, it's amazing, and that's just one of the trips they've done.
Working with Hitachi and LNER, they were really cooperative. They gave us some great access at the depot.
Can you imagine the size of the SD cards for those cameras taking 1,000 pictures of one train? Especially with nice mirrorless DSLR cameras that it appears that they have that probably shoot in extremely high resolutions. Insane, that's a lot of space. I'm always thinking about the space. It's just crazy to me, you know, the amount of work that goes into this. Like, I feel like my biggest gripe most of the time and my bone to pick is mostly at Dovetail, but like these actual developers, like they work so hard on this stuff and they're really passionate, honestly.
And we've also had some great access to the Flying Scotsman. So yeah, it's been a really, really good year for us to get access to all of this stuff.
Getting new sounds, recording the sounds that are actually grounded in real life, and when you come to editing them later on, really help, I feel, immerse you in the game experience, and I feel players will really get to immerse themselves in the game through the sounds that I've captured, which is something I really enjoy doing as a sound designer.
Okay, that's awesome. Can they head back out here to my neck of the woods and re-record the sounds for the Acela, because that horn is just not it. I'm sorry. I think I'm always gonna complain about that one. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Oh, here we go, the music. They've been teasing this music a
Music
lot.
is really important to what we do. It sounds like a trivial thing. It's the menu music. How important can it be? But
You know, when these streams start, there's 10 minutes of a countdown and they've been playing it. And I normally always skip the countdowns. I don't anymore with Train Sim World 4. The last couple of streams, I just play it all the way through because I like to sit down and listen to the music because it truly, genuinely does sound just so good.
actually, it sets the tone for the whole experience. It's going to set your mood as you come into the game and when you get into it. How do you feel rushed to get the music out of the way, or do you want to go into settings and turn it off? So actually our composer Ben has done such a tremendous job in creating music, and we wanted to create something different this year. I think that's come off really well.
The first thing I think about when approaching writing music for a game about trains, like Train Sim World 4 is, it's putting myself in the mindset of what I want people to feel when they're about to start playing in the game. I want to instill that feeling of impending excitement and the journey ahead, and I want to recreate that in a musical form where it starts off quiet and builds into a frenzy of excitement and anticipation as you decide where it is you want to go and the journey you want to take. For me, it's about creating a connection between humans and the experience you're about to have. And for me, the best way to do that is to use natural sounding instruments like violins and cellos and pianos. And you know, we're very lucky with this soundtrack, for example, to have taken on a solo cello player and a solo violin player to really create that very intimate feeling as it builds and creates this big, exciting crescendo.
It's truly brilliant, and I do want to say, I feel like the feeling he's describing, the feeling he hopes players will feel when listening to it, perfectly encapsulates it, like 100%. I definitely 100% agree.
Starting back with Train Sim World 3, when I was lucky enough to write the main menu music for that game, that was our first real foray into having proper custom music for one of our games. What I wanted to do with Train Sim World 4 is expand on that and make something bigger than we've ever done before. And actually, for the first time, we've got a full-fledged actual soundtrack. That has connected really well with the players in the past, and I'm really excited to see how they react to everything we've got in store for them for Train Sim World 4.
But also then what can we do? We've got these amazing experiences that we're bringing into the game. The visuals that you'll see in the Antelope, Vorarlberg, and the East Coast Main Line. There's some really stunning moments there. And the scenarios that the gameplay team produced, they're becoming really great at creating moments in the scenarios. That this was the bit that, you know, where the trains crossed each other, or where you saw that beautiful vista.
So in Train Sim World 4, we're doing something we've not done before with music, which is creating moments within scenarios across all of our routes. Now what this actually is it's creating a moment for all the players in game where, I won't spoil exactly what they are now, but at prevalent moments throughout those experiences, music will play a key role in enhancing the experience.
I know they've been talking about that and it sounds absolutely insane. And also the fact that we are getting the tools to actually create timetables and create scenarios the same exact way that they can create them. I'm guessing we're gonna also be able to make our own scenarios that have our own musical moments too, because they're giving us their tools. Yeah, it might not be easy, especially at first, but the option is there and we can do that. And I can't wait to dive in and attempt it, or to learn it, and then of course eventually to fully accomplish it.
One of the things that I'm really excited about that's happened in the development of Train Sim World 4 is how the team have been able to get out and visit the places, go visit the routes, go ride the trains, talk to people, the staff at the various operators that we're working with. They are fun, but they are very hard work.
The most unique and challenging aspects of capturing all this audio for TSW4 was just mainly the distance for Los Angeles, going out to LA, the stress that involved, but it's very different with something like an Azuma and something like an F125. An F125 being a diesel locomotive, you can play with it, I guess, while it's at the depot, while it's stationary. You can do that with an Azuma, but with an Azuma, they're an electric multiple unit. So when you want things like traction motor sounds and things like that, it actually has to be moving for us to be able to capture that stuff. So that's where it becomes difficult.
Luckily, like, everything worked out fine recording-wise. I think a GoPro fell off the window once, but that was about it. With LA in particular, there was a few times I had a shotgun mic ready to record, but whilst doing that, I had a helicopter fly over me, or we were next to a big motorway where there was really big American motorcycles. So there was actually often times where takes were ruined because of that. So after about the 5th or 6th helicopter, I just started recording them because it's clearly the sound of LA. So I felt like we needed it. So if you hear some helicopters in game, those are actual LA helicopters.
That's kind of insane. So basically they were like, fuck it, you know, we're just gonna record the sounds of LA and we're putting them in the game. So if you hear it, you're playing the game and this is the train, but you're also in LA. So you're gonna be hearing LA in the game the same way you'd hear it in real life. I do like that, I will say. But yeah, with what they were saying about how, you know, with the Azuma, for some of the sounds they needed, the train needs to be moving. So I'm assuming if they couldn't get sounds when the train was moving, what does that mean? Does that mean they're probably taking real sounds, but then they have to alter them in ways that kind of makes them not realistic, so they can kind of like synthesize it being moving? Is that what they're saying? Like some of the sounds are kind of edited and some of them are organic, or were they actually able to capture everything 100% the way it is in real life?
Really lucky to be able to collaborate with so many members of the team, and it's really actually pushed me to try new styles and create soundtracks that are slightly outside of my comfort zone. There's lots to look forward to.
Train Sim World 4 for me, in 3 words, would be exciting, immersive, and unique.
Immersive, beautiful and powerful.
There's lots of grandeur and lots of scale and scope. There's quiet moments and there's epic moments, and I think there's a little bit of something for everybody.
You're gonna love it.
Composing music and jet setting abroad, all in a day's work for the Train Sim World 4 team, and we can't wait for you to try it on September 26, 2023 when it launches. You can pre-order it now on all platforms. You can pre-order the standard edition, the deluxe edition, or the special edition, and there are pre-order discounts available for all platforms. Next week, we'll be talking about new lands and new locos that you can explore with Train Sim World 4, but until then, I'll see you later.
Okay, so I guess I lied that. In the last dev diary, maybe they didn't talk about the locos and routes. Maybe I'm just making that up in my head. I think it was just all about the features. Yeah, it was about like scenario planner, PC editor, livery designer 2.0, all that stuff. It wasn't even, I don't know why in my mind I thought the routes were in it. I think I'm thinking about the roadmap stream and the roadmap article, so completely ignore that. So I guess next week, we're gonna have another one of these next week, and it's gonna be all about the routes and the locos. So that's exciting. You guys have to share your thoughts below on what you think about this. I really like these dev diaries. I like these like inside looks into this stuff. I think it's really neat to learn about the process of how the recordings happen and how all that raw footage, raw audio files make it into the game and just transform it and come to life, you know? Seeing everything happen in the process or processes that it has to go through to get to the final product that we have when we play the game, it's such an interesting process. It's cool to learn a lot about it. Share your thoughts below. Of course, if there's any more news or information, I will be bringing it to you as soon as possible. And I think we actually have another preview stream coming up. I don't even know what it's for, but I'm pretty sure we have one this week. I need to look at the schedule because I've already forgotten it. My schedule is pretty busy just in itself, but thanks for watching. So long, take care, and happy rail simming.